Guys, I'm V, and today I'll be reviewing the 2015 Jurassic World Wave 2 Stegoceratops. So while this figure does seem like a last-ditch attempt at reviving the previous Stegoceratops figure, I will admit this figure doesn't actually look too bad. Now granted, when comparing this figure to the previous Stegoceratops figure, I believe this one is a little bit more accurate to the Stegoceratops concept art that we can see online. However, this figure on hand is still a nice touch with the coloration. In fact, when it comes to the coloration on this figure, it almost gives off like a desert vibe to it. In fact, this reminds me of something that you would see in the Jurassic Park camo extreme line, most notably the desert scene. When looking at the figure, you can see that it has some patterning to it that really makes it look desert inspired, which is a really cool touch to it. In fact, when you compare it to the original, this kind of looks like more of a jungle variant, whereas this looks more like a desert variant. Now of course, when you look at the figure up close, the sculpting is exactly the same as the previous figure. There is literally no difference at all. All it is just a simple repaint. Looking at the head, the sculpting is not too bad. It's not the most detailed thing in the world. As for paint, unfortunately when it comes to the horns and the beak, they got kind of lazy. All they did was just put one streak of paint on the horns, and the rest of the horns are just the base pigment plastic, and the beak only has one streak of paint on the front. When looking at the original on the hand, as you can see, the entire horns are actually painted. Well, I guess they're base pigment, but they're painted. And the beak is also completely painted. So it's kind of a shame to see the lack of paint on this figure. I feel like they could have at least added a little bit more paint, but of course they did not. Looking at the eyes, something that's pretty neat is that the eyes are indeed different from the original. The eyes on this guy are more like a cream color, whereas the eyes on the previous one are a yellow color. And on the topic of eyes, if you look at the eyes of the original, the eyes are completely black but with a yellow pupil. But when you look at the Wave 2 version, while there is some black outlining, the eyes are actually normal. Next up with the frill, of course you got some cream paint going on the frill, and then you got some orange accents, and all of the ridges on the frill are also fully painted. Moving on down the body, you got some skin texturing, you got some little bumps going on. You also have, of course, the dino damage, which is fully painted. The arms and legs still has that cream coloration with the orange accents on front and back. Unfortunately, no toe claw paints at all. Looking at the plates of the figure, they are just mainly the same base pigment plastic as the body, but they have some cream painting on the outside of them, but the inside has no paint at all. And on the bottom of the figure, the underbelly is airbrushed, and the neck and head are partially airbrushed, and the tail only has some hand-painted cream paint, which goes to a little less than mid-range. And when looking at the paint at the back of the tail, of course, the same exact paint. You got some cream paint on the plates, nothing on the inside, and the sagomizers are not painted. In fact, when you compare both Stegoceratops to each other, you can actually see they have the same exact paint applications to them. Well, of course, besides the legs, which basically tells me that when these guys were in the factory, they basically just used the same painting process, just with different colored paint. Of course, granted, there are indeed differences, such as the frills being different. The original has an orange airbrushing going on, whereas this guy has more paint application going on. But besides that, they're really the same actually. In fact, the JW logos, oh wait, no, actually JW's logos are different. This one is a little bit more pushed back and a little bit thinner. the original is a little bit thicker and it's a little bit bigger in the midsection of the leg, so I take that back. Now of course, while this figure has just turned 10 years old, the features on this guy are still working pretty solid to this day. As for the features of this guy, they're exactly the same as the previous Stegoceratops, but if you push down the tail, the head goes in and out, kind of like a turtle for some reason, and when you move the tail to the side, the head turns to the side. Now I can't really place it, but when you compare the features to the previous one, this one is actually a lot more weaker. I can't really state how, but this one feels like it's gonna break a lot easier. It just doesn't feel as strong and sturdy. But when you get this guy, the features feel a lot more sturdy and a lot stronger. This guy feels like it can actually take a beating, whereas this guy feels like he's gonna break at any moment. Now it is nice to see that Hasbro did indeed take the criticism to this guy and applied it to this one. Even though the sculpt and paint might not be too much of a difference, the actual functionality of this guy feels a lot stronger and a lot better than the original. Now of course, while Hasbro did not make a Triceratops figure for this line, we do however have the Lost World Triceratops, which does actually fit in, well not fit in because they're two different sculptors, but the size wise, they actually fit pretty well. So if you want a comparison, this is probably the best you're going to get with the original animal. And of course, when you compare it to the Bashers and Biters T-Rex, I'd say it fits in pretty well with scale. I mean, the Triceratops, or I guess not Stegoceratops, was pretty big, so it's not too bad. But yeah, I mean, here it is compared to the Bashers and Biters T-Rex, if you're wondering. Alright, but this is the Jurassic World Stegoceratops. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. What do you guys think of this figure? Do you like it? Do you not like it? I'd love to hear your guys' opinions in the comments below. But besides that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.